So here we are. I have had a lot of light bulbs to come up. I have ginger, I have water, and a rabbit may show up in the background. For a while, I thought being on more platforms meant that I was doing everything right. Like if everyone else could be visible everywhere, so could I. But what I realized, if I'm visible everywhere, but don't have enough focus to deeply be somewhere, what exactly am I building? And that is something that I want to talk about today. It's not just about what I'm doing for the last couple of months, what I've been doing. When I really looked at my history of being on social media, it's been about 15 years or so, something like that. I was trying to really calculate when I actually decided to present myself as a business owner. And I'm thinking totally it's been around like close to 15 years. I didn't do deep calculations. Um, I've been in a different fog or whatever. This morning, it's early since I'm recording this. You may notice a change in my voice. But I know around that time, when I actually was like, okay, I'm going to do some things online. And what I realized, and I don't know if this is true, people say you repeat patterns like every 7 years or something like that. I don't know. But I'll tell you that I started thinking about like it seems like I'm repeating the same pattern, trying to be everything to everybody everywhere. And that's not the whole plan. So today I'm making a decision in real time that I'm going to be more intentional with my time. And this is as a solo person, entrepreneur, in this gig economy, until I'm able to have a huge team, I need to be intentional where I am, right? So I've been trying to determine where my attention belongs. I've been active, of course, on TikTok, off and on, Instagram, Facebook. I have a Substack, YouTube. I have a YouTube, of course. And on the surface, it sounds productive. Like, yeah, I know how to schedule posts and do all things. But I'm beginning to really question it more and more, like I've mentioned. And I'm not telling anyone else what platforms to use because they are all fun platforms and people have had great success with the different platforms. But I am examining my own patterns. If I'm getting on here and encouraging midlifers to rediscover, redefine things. I want you to see my journey as well of what I'm doing. And hopefully that will encourage you too to keep going. So, my question that I keep asking myself, what have I gained over the years? Which I've gained quite a bit, I think, right? So, looking back, I started out doing a lot of digital marketing and I homeschooled my children. So there was a lot with that. And I kind of telling my story as a homeschooler. So there was a lot to connect the dots and gain and just developing my skills outside of homeschooling. And I've seen some great success. I've made some money online doing digital marketing, coaching. I'm a licensed or certified eating psychology coach. I'm a licensed personal trainer, group fitness instructor. So I've done things in the health sphere as well as homeschooling. And I do have a financial background. So I have actually had some success and made some great connections over the years, which those in itself have been gold. Okay. But as you get older, you start to realize you start transforming over the years, things change, relationships change, injuries happen. as well. So I was like, well, maybe that's something too that maybe I need to start changing some things and see what am I really doing? What is the real end goal to this? So when you look at other people, you're like, oh, you see all the glitz and glam, but you don't know exactly what they go through. You don't know their detailed journey, just what they choose to share with you, right? So, and thinking about that, I'm thinking about, okay, how many hours does it really take to build something like this? Like, how many hours, how many years, you go back and forth trying to figure out what do you need, what you actually need to spend time on, right? And then you see all of the viral moments. I'm going to get some water. Hmm. Okay. And I got my ginger, so I'm going to pop my ginger in. You should be able to still be able to hear me. My voice is a little hoarse today, but I keep going. So you hear all the success stories, you see the viral videos, which that's funny that I always wondered how would that work? Like how would I react if I had a viral video? And basically I've had two of the same video on two different platforms. I know they say maybe up to 1 million that could go that's solidifies it viral, but this has been like 4 to 500K, which I consider that viral. That's like the most views I ever had. And it was during a Juneteenth event, and it was a paramedic, and he was just, having the time of his life. And I decided to record him, and he was so much fun. It was so hot. I didn't get out there and dance with him, but I watched him later as everybody just came up and just talking to him. I was like, who is this guy? He has to be somebody that people really love and want to actually just, come up and talk to. So I was like, let me post this. This is so encouraging just to like, keep doing whatever you're doing. Because there's lots of negativity, but people rarely add positive things. And so I put that on there, just spreading some positivity. Didn't realize that so many people would click on that particular video. And I guess it was during a good time during Juneteenth. So that was like fun just to see that. But Snoopy, that's my rabbit. I told you he would make some kind of noise or appearance within the video. But I realized that, that was fun, right? But that's not what I want my journey to be all about. Is having these viral videos. I want to be able to share more and be able to let people know that there is still time. It's not, your time doesn't end when you turn 40. There's so much more for you to do. And let me see, I may have to put him away. He's in the curtains and he's making a lot of noise. Let's put him away for a second. Not literally put him away, but tearing things up. I'm going to show you what he looks like. Yeah, here's little Snoopy making all the noise. It's me on camera. He's having the time of his life. You're mad. You mad? I'll leave the door open. It's okay. I'm learning that life happens, and that's one thing too. I thought everything had to be perfectly sound, but in midlife, a lot of times it doesn't work out that way. And I used to think that I needed to just stop or just try to go somewhere and get this little room. I've even done that and just record for hours. But I want it to be as real and authentic as I want to be. And I think I need it to be for people like me that are struggling and they want to put themselves out there, but they're afraid what they're doing is not enough. So there's always opportunities out here. And with anyone, you don't know how, like I mentioned, you don't know how long they've been building, whether they've had employees or a team. You don't know how much help they've had in the background. You don't know their financial resources. You don't know their business model. You don't know how many hours they've worked and whether you even want the life behind the success. Like, do you even want that life? You don't really know what that life beyond the camera actually looks like. So the question I was asking, was I actually pursuing something I wanted or pursuing evidence that somebody else had made it work? Was it something I wanted or I wanted the evidence that what someone else was pursuing actually worked? That's the question. That's the comparison. And I think I want to see someone else and like, oh, that worked for them, so maybe it'll work for me. Well, why not just start? Be excited about doing something and make it up in your mind that in your heart that what you're going to do is going to work because you've decided to do something different. You've decided to put yourself out there. You've decided to give yourself a chance, right? Now, this is something else that hit me. I might be trying to repeat the exact same pattern. I mentioned that before because I'll tell you about myself. I get all excited, got the momentum going. And then after a while, it's just like, you know. So you come to realize your own self and be honest with yourself. You have different things that's dividing your attention, like on this platform, on this platform, on that platform, on this platform. Different things are dividing the attention. Because I'll tell you, there's always opportunities out here. You just need to decide which one you're going to show up for. I've heard people say that if you don't learn the lesson, life has a way of bringing it back around. Some people attach, again, like I mentioned before, 7 years to it. And I don't know if that's true, like I mentioned before. But I think when people say things, we can take it as a grain of salt. But then you think about it, it's just like, okay, as I look over my life, is that something that I've done before? It starts to look familiar. Some things, right? So I don't know. So I can't change the past 15 years or so. If I did the math really and really connected when I started buying these different programs, I can kind of remember when all this started. I can't change it, but I can decide what to do next. I have learned a lot of life lessons. And so what am I going to do with it? So maybe this season isn't about proving I can show up everywhere. Maybe it's about proving I can stay somewhere long enough to actually build. And that's what I want to do. I want to prove to myself that I can stay somewhere long enough to build. And as you can see, I've chosen a platform of choice. It's a lot different than, and I wouldn't classify as a real social media, really traditional platform, you know? So let me kind of backtrack. I give myself tests, I give myself experiences. I'm going to backtrack and tell you a little story of what happened. So I get these bright ideas of things. And I had this idea, oh, let me do a challenge on TikTok because I'm not that visible on TikTok. And let me do a challenge. And I told my husband about it. just to see if I could actually do this, go live. Now it's easy to post every day or schedule posts or whatever you want to do, but going live every day, I wanted to see if I could do that. So I was talking to my husband about it, and it was a friendly competition. I was a little competing. So I started doing that. And then once I got through June, I was like, oh, let me just keep going into July. So July came around. And then I was like, okay, I'll just keep going with August. But when I realized something, I was already being consistent on YouTube. I started back in March, every day putting content out, mostly shorts. But I wanted to push myself a little farther. I wanted to see how I did just getting on camera again, because I used to do this years ago on Facebook. I used to go live in the morning, and I want just to see if I could just do that, just having the courage to put myself back out there. For one, because I am over 40. Every day does not feel like roses in this stage of midlife. Sometimes my face is very puffy. Even if I put the little mask thing on with the ice, or, a lot of times my throat is scratchy because my voice is just waking up. Like I have to put a ginger in or get some water. I may have a lower tone. And just to do something a little out of the box to challenge myself, right? But it did work. It helped me to realize that I didn't need to be everywhere to be effective. I realized that. I realized that whenever I decided to stop this challenge, it wasn't because I was quitting on myself. It was because I've built enough confidence to know and to realize that where I need to be is where I need to be. And however amount of time I need to be there, that's the amount of time. So it was something not planned. A lot of times I was on my exercise bike and just having at it, just going, 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 watching someone walk. I was just going, going, going. And then I thought about, oh, or I thought about something like, let me share. Or I was cooking a meal and wanted to share a new cheese that I made with quesadillas. And I was like, oh, let me share that. So it was kind of like on the fly a lot, but it gave me a chance to interact with people I didn't know, strangers, gave me confidence to talk to people again and just put myself out there and unpolished. And so learning how to communicate without a script, even though, now I do have notes, because with this, I'm now doing long form videos and I want to make sure I stay on point, because I'll just go somewhere out in the sunset some days. But it wasn't always perfect. And I didn't waste time. I saw that there was a difference before where I was and who I was before that experience and then after. It gave me more confidence. It gave me more clarity of what I wanted to do going forward. And that experiment is over. So what I was realizing, that I was becoming that pattern, that I was getting involved with that same pattern again, even though I was doing that experiment. I wanted to be on that platform. Part of me did, because I saw the results that my husband got on that platform. But that was his journey. That's his journey. And it was just nice to be able to have something like to connect to about regarding that, which now he's coming over to YouTube and wants to do more YouTube things, which he's already had a channel. But me going through the process that I've been going through, encouraged him to get back on YouTube. And a challenge that was presented through a person I've been following since I started my challenge, of course. But I learned too that as I was somewhere else doing another experiment, I was giving YouTube my leftovers. And I was like, no, YouTube is where I actually want to be. And I want to make sure that I have the energy to be able to put that information out effectively and with my full attention. So I thought, okay, I have to do this. I've made in my mind that I have to do this. So my new business model wasn't being everywhere again. Those days are over. Now, I'm not saying that TikTok, all these other platforms are bad because I do have, I'm not going to close them up. I do still have those platforms. I just know now how I am structuring my energy now. I'm not having to be there all the time to be effective. And one thing I want to make this distinction that everybody doesn't have to be on YouTube. This is the platform that I've chosen because I like the structure. I like that it is a search engine. And where do I always go to? You know, growing up in the age, I'll tell you my age. I mean, you already know it's midlife. But I remember when I had my first Gmail account. I remember when I started Googling, like how exciting that was, and then started being introduced more into YouTube videos to search things, learn how to do things quickly. So I want to be on a platform where if someone has like needs some encouragement and may have some questions about how do I maneuver through this midlife journey when I have so much on my plate. It's so big. I'm so busy. Where do I start? I want people to be able to research and look and find one of my videos to encourage them. And now more and more, excuse me, now more and more people are actually on their TV, have YouTube on their TV. It's making it even more easy for people to access content. And so I would like this to be a great space, a go-to space for a lot of midlifers that need some real conversations because we do have a lot of noise out here and it's great noise. But I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of the noise. I want to be a part of this people connecting, like-minded people connecting on this platform. So also I'm a podcaster. If you haven't seen my podcast or heard about Time for Wellness, so my podcast is a place that I actually upload a lot of my podcast episodes on another channel just for my podcast. And so it's helped me, this platform has helped me develop my thoughts as a podcaster more. So I'm seeing some growth and I'm excited about it. And I want to make sure I have the energy for that as well. Well, Ginger, I was looking for the pause button so I wouldn't cough. Too late for that. So ginger a little spicy. Oh my gosh. So this comes from a place called Roses. And yeah, it can be a little spicy. Yeah. Sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and crunch it up. This is our break. Mm, yeah. So I'm recording today on my laptop instead of my phone. I am on Zoom recording. And I couldn't find the pause button. Like, where is it? You know, they've updated. Where? I don't even see it. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, being everywhere creates visibility, but I want to build deeply. Okay. So, I didn't quit. I finished the experiment. I started going live on TikTok on purpose. Wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to show up. I wanted my communication to improve. I wanted to be more comfortable being visible because I'll tell you what you are seeing is what you're seeing. I wear little to no makeup. My makeup is my lipstick. Yeah, my eyebrows don't grow much. There's a lot of things in midlife that we can pick out, but I've learned to embrace this face and be excited about me, showing up as me and loving all of me at every stage of life. So, one thing I've learned, maybe everything we start isn't supposed to become something we do forever. That's something I've been learning and sharing more and more on this platform that sometimes we stay too long. We feel that an experiment or something we try, we're supposed to keep going, going, going. Not everything is meant to be part of your entire book. Some things are only meant to be a chapter, some things are only meant to be an excerpt. And we need to realize that we're on a learning experience. This is a learning journey for us. And every part of our life looks different. And sometimes we have to realize that maybe we do stay too long. And maybe that's where the frustration comes. So, life is a teacher, as one of my mentors, previous mentors, always would say, life is here to teach us. So, how do I distinguish between quitting something because it's uncomfortable from stopping because I've learned what I came to learn? Let me start that over. How do I distinguish quitting because something becomes uncomfortable from stopping because I've learned what I came here to learn? You don't need the perfect answer. I think you already know whether or not you're quitting because it's uncomfortable versus you're stopping because you've learned the lesson. You already know. We have the answer. Sometimes we don't want to move forward with that because of fear of the unknown, but I think we do know the answer. There's my rabbit again chewing on something. Oh, so again, sometimes working for somebody close to me doesn't automatically make it my assignment. Oh, that comes with if you have a partner or spouse, sometimes you want to do things together and it may be a friendly competition or like, let me see if I can do it better. Well, let me see, well, it's working for him, why can't it work for me? Or it's working for her, why can't it work for her or them? And it might not even be your assignment. We be putting extra things on our plates that are unnecessary. Unnecessary. If fear of missing out, well, maybe I might miss out on something if I don't do this. They're having such great success. What if I just try it? Maybe it'll work for me. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. And you can decide. You have a choice if you want to try it or not. But you can celebrate someone else's momentum without expecting, or let me start over. You can celebrate somebody else's momentum without interpreting it as evidence that you're supposed to be doing exactly what they're doing. Yes, we're going to get it right today. If you haven't already, while I'm struggling right now with my voice, make sure you are subscribed to the Midlife Time Traveler. We are reclaiming our time, our energy, and our talents. And we're rediscovering what it is that we are wanting to do with the next chapter of our life. So I'm super excited that you've chosen this channel to connect with. And I will continue to see you in the comments. Thank you so much for leaving a comment to just share your thoughts and so we can grow together. All right. So I'm choosing where to build. So again, YouTube feels almost like the aftermath of my podcast. I have this note because I wanted to explain more about that. So I've been podcasting for almost 7 years. I haven't always been putting my podcast on YouTube. I do now put, I think I started at over 100 plus. I'm now at over 300 plus episodes that are visible to the public that I've been podcasting on over 13 plus platforms where you can find my podcast Time for Wellness. And so when I started uploading them automatic on YouTube, I was thought, okay, let's repurpose this. It's a great way to actually showcase my podcast on another platform as well. And so that's a total separate channel where I actually have those there. But what I'm realizing, and now I used to upload every Wednesday. I did every Wednesday for the first 5 years, and then this is year six. So I tried, let me see how it works if I do my podcast once a month and go more in depth on a topic. And I'll tell you, it has really helped guide me and just keep me focused because my main topic of my podcast, if you look at my videos on the Midlife Time Traveler, I've been able to develop a lot of what I focus on every month. And so this is more like the aftermath. And it's like a deeper dive, this channel into midlife. And so I really like the structure. And it's like I didn't intend, but it's like when you start focusing and it's like it was a natural flow. And I'm very proud of that. And with this platform, I'm able to document my journey of real time, what's happening in midlife, having these conversations, of course, continually expressing myself and allowing people just to see the evolution of what's going on. And it's a searchable library. That's what I like. It's easier to find. And with these, I have the midlife reinvention playlist. You can keep along with the journey through that playlist. So you'll see the progression and see how you are progressing as well. So this is not just posting, this is a body of work. And this is something that's developed from my coaching and everything. It's like being able to truly see more as I'm not being all over the place, kind of honing in my thoughts and honing in my message. So what am I going to do with all the other things that I've built? I've got a lot of stuff. I have a lot of real estate. It's real estate. It's intellectual property. It will stay where it needs to stay. Instagram is a great portfolio. I have a lot of fun things on there. I have hidden some things, of course, but it has the main things that kind of tells who I am and points people to this YouTube channel, Facebook as well. That's more personal. That's where I hang out with, connect with family members and other people too, with some other little fun things, local things that happens. And then, my TikTok, it's private. I've put it to private right now. So it's staying there with the people that are already connected. And then, so nothing's really disappearing. I am just honing my time and energy and making sure people still know how to reach me. I'm learning that I can maintain a presence somewhere without making it my responsibility to be there and to build there. Everything still can exist. That's my digital footprint. Maintain everywhere if I want to, but build somewhere. I have to learn how to build somewhere. You have to learn how to build somewhere. I'm talking to you. Like as I'm talking to myself, I'm talking to you too. We got to hold each other accountable through this journey, right? All right. So maybe focus isn't doing less because I can't handle more. Maybe focus is deciding what deserves more of me because I already know I can handle a lot more, but I'm learning what really decides, desires, and deserves more of me. And there is a video about that, just being having access. And so that's something that you can actually tune into if you want to go back to that video. And in real time, I am making notes, real time. I'm making a note to insert the video. All right, so I can't change the past. I can change the patterns that I see now. I don't need another 7 years, if that's even true, of the same thing. I don't need another platform to prove I'm capable. I don't need to follow somebody else's strategy because it worked for them, even though I am connected to someone that's, indirectly holding me accountable because I've been following this person for a while and I love the travel. That's my desire to be able to travel more. And this person travels a lot. And so I love just seeing what's new. And that won't stop. What I am actually trying to build and what deserves my best attention. What is it? If I'm building something, what deserves that attention? So, is there something you're still doing simply because you're committed to it, even though you may have already learned what you needed to learn from? Is there something? You've already learned a lesson. Are you still doing it because you feel obligated to be committed to it? Think about that. And is there something else in your life that's getting your leftovers, even though you know that's where you really want to build? Hmm. Think about that. What's getting your leftovers? You really want to be there, but you're feeling, oh, I got to keep this on the side over here. What are you building? I'm going to cry. I'm getting teary eyed because you guys, it means so much to get that realization that you are in control of your energy. You don't have to keep being pulled, tossed to and fro like the wind. You can decide where to spend your time and who has the access, what has the access. I'm learning that in real time, and it's such a load off when you make that decision. It's scary, but guess what? It is needed and it's sacred. So you are not in this by yourself. If you're navigating your own chapter and figuring out what deserves more of your time, energy, and attention, subscribe to the Midlife Time Trap and continue this journey with me. I'm documenting what happens when I stop trying to do everything and start getting intentional about what I'm actually building. So that's where we are today. And until next time, while you have the day, make the most of today. Bye for now.